My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My YouTubes are 5 minutes or less, not to bore you or not to bore me. I don't go through a lot of promotion, mostly education. My only promotion that I tell you, if you want us to represent you, there's probably nobody better in the nation than our firm with all the IRS experience we have. By the way, you're allowed to call us for a consultation anytime. Anyway, today I want to talk to you about why you pick IRS agents to represent you. You know, if you go to a tax attorney's page, he's going to tell you, well, I went to law school for this. If you go to a CPA, they're going to say, well, you know, we passed the CPA exam and did this. But let me tell you, I've been doing this for 50 years. I've worked at IRS over a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. I have a Facebook page, representation page of over 3,000 professionals across the United States. I've been on every major news outlet that you can without the exception of one. Let me just tell you something, and I'm not trying to pat my firm or myself on the back, because you can go use a former IRS agent, no matter where that person is, maybe in your area, your city, your county, us, whoever. Let me tell you something. All these other people and professionals that say they can represent you the best, if they haven't worked for IRS, they can't. I just want this to make common sense to you. I hear this all the time, and I'm doing this YouTube video because it pisses me off to hear these other people say, well, we can get the best result, or we can, because we know this. That's all bullshit. Let me tell you, when you work at IRS day in and day out, and you know all the methodologies, the methodologies, the settlement formulas, the give or takes, the processing of internal menus and memos, and why they want to do this and why they do that, and understand the culture, the nomenclature of how IRS works. You know exactly how you need to settle that case and work with that agent. All agents are different, and when you're a former agent, you've worked with all these different types. So when they also know that you are a former IRS agent, they're not going to pull the wool over your eyes. There's actually a respect for you in the representation, and I don't think people understand that as much as they need to. Also, there is just this camaraderie about being a former. There just is. Many times, much of the audit goes, oh, how long did you work? How many cases you work? And they know they can't pull the wool over your eyes. And when they can't pull the wool over your eyes, many times they just want to go ahead and get the case settled. Now, this isn't always the case. I'm not going to say this happens every single time. It doesn't. It just doesn't. There are times that the person will get really pissy because you know more than them. But if you've been doing this a long time, you know how to handle it. The other thing a good agent will know in representation is you hold appeals over their head. Every single auditor at IRS wants to please their manager, get the case closed, and not take the case to appeals. As former IRS agents, we know that goes against the grain because it's not going to make that auditor look good. So usually using that as a little guillotine for them, it makes it a little different. But just by knowing everything that they know gives us a huge advantage. And when you do this over and over, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of times, you know how these cases are going to end once you get in the middle. You got to remember, it's not the local auditor, it's going to appeals, and you can even go to tax court, and tax court cases get kicked down back to appeals. So if you need a good person to represent you, find a former IRS agent who worked in the audit division, not the collection division, not criminal, not exempt organizations. They were former auditors for the IRS. We do have those, but you may have your own people from IRS you have, but I will tell you, they undoubtedly will get you the very best results. And it only makes common sense. To think otherwise, I'll be honest, it's crazy. Anyway, if you liked anything I said, you can go ahead and give me a subscription. I try to do the videos that you need. This is kind of a little promotional. I try not to do that. Most of my videos are all educational. Thank you very much. Have a good day.